Hi, my name is Aaron Cruz, and today I'm going to be presenting my speech, The Hard Truth About Hard Water. Now, when was the last time you had to drink tap water? Never? Well, that's probably because, like most of us, we prefer drinking bottled water or filtered water instead of tap water. Now, what if I were to tell you that that same tap water we all refuse to drink is also used to brush our teeth, take a bath, wash our clothes, just to name a few? A US geological study back in 2021 said that 85% of Americans use hard water in their homes. Now, this hard water is usually linked to the corrosion and damage of plumbing in most households. However, what's not usually covered is the side effects that this hard water has on your skin, your hair, and the soap products used in the home. So today we're going to be covering what some of these side effects are, and then we're going to talk about ways we can prevent it or cure these issues. Now, some of these things I'm going to cover today are going to kind of shock you a bit. Perhaps these could be considered ugly truths, but the more you know, the better decisions you can make in the future. Now, I know about some of these issues because for a brief period, I worked as a water specialist technician. Now, it was my job to go out into the community and engage local homeowners or residents and educate them on their hard water, and then give them solutions on how they can fix it. So, today we're going to dive into a couple of those demonstrations I would perform for them, and then cover the side effects and what we can do to fix them. So I guess the first ugly truth that we can cover, or I like to call it the hard truth, would be that there is chlorine in your water. Now, this is not a scare tactic. I'm not trying to sell you anything in particular, but merely inform you that there is chlorine in your water. It's a low level of chlorine. It's not enough to harm us. In fact, it's needed. That chlorine that they put in our water is to help kill the bacteria and prevent any kind of illnesses to come into our water. But that same chlorine also has side effects when it comes to our skin. Now, just to show you that there's chlorine in the water, if you take something like OTO solution, which you can find in any kind of pool store or Walmart, this will detect the chlorine in your water. It's also used to treat pools. So just for time's sake, I went ahead and already did it. So this tube right here is used with Aquafina bottled water. And this one right here was with the hard water. Now, I put 5 drops of this into each one, and that's what we got. So obviously the hard water, which is from our sink, has the chlorine. Bottled water obviously is filtered, nothing in it. Now, so that chlorine, according to the National Library of Medicine, is one of the proposed environmental risk factors for eczema. So if you have a pre-existing condition with your skin, maybe it's eczema, maybe it's something else that's minor, the hard water could be possibly irritating it. Now, the way that it affects your hair, now I know some of you may be looking at me saying, it looks like hard water has really affected you. I can assure you it's not going to make you lose your hair. However, for some of us that have, that take a lot of time on our hair, the hard water strips that hair of its natural oils. And the same National Library of Medicine states that people that use hard water when washing their hair notice that it looks a bit ruffled, and it does not look as thick as people who wash their hair with soft water, which is filtered water. Now, when we go back to the way it affects your soap, that's going to be our next demonstration. So, for time's sake, I already did half of the demonstration so you can see it. But this right here, that is distilled water, which is soft water, and I put a little bit of castile soap, which is like medical grade soap. Now, I've actually had this sitting out for a while we're talking, kind of just to prove my point. So what you'll see is I put the same amount of soap that I did in that one, and I'm going to mix it with hard water. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, there's a lot more bubbles in that one, but you'll see in a minute the reaction to that. Now, the hard water in our soaps actually creates something called soap scum. So soap scum is merely the combination of our hard water with soap. Now, a lot of people notice that sometimes their fabrics and their clothes, they aren't as stretchy, or they feel stiff. Maybe the clothes feel harder than when they first bought them. Perhaps the colors are not as vibrant. That's due to the hard water. You know, sometimes when you're washing your glasses and you notice they're spotty, well, that's due to the hard water. Now, as you can see, which has already happened, that soap that was in there already went down. See how this soap has still been there? Now, this soap has been at the top here for about, I want to say since I started the speech 5 minutes ago. This has already gone down. The difference between these two is which one would you want to bathe in? This water or this water? Now, I always use this as a demonstration. When I was a kid, I would take these bubble baths, and I would always need a lot of soap in order to get these big, huge bubbles that I wanted in my bubble bath. Well, later on, obviously, I learned that it had nothing to do with the amount of soap I put in there. It has to do with the hard water. The hard water is what makes the soap go down. In fact, your soap consumption goes up because of your hard water. So this is actually hurting your pocket. You're using more soap to perform a job that doesn't require that much soap. Also, one thing you may notice if maybe you have kids or you've gotten out of the tub after 30 minutes, your water looks murky like this. Well, that's also due to your water. It's not because you just had a really long day and you're just dirty. No, it has to do with your water quality. So all that right there is a hard water. Also, something, just a side note, if you ever look at ice cubes, if you see any of this cloudiness in your ice, that's the hard water that's frozen up inside your ice. If your ice looks clear like this area right here, you have filtered water. All right, now let's go into some of the things you can do to solve these issues. Now, the one big one obviously is water softener. If you have a water softener, that will filter out all these sediments and all this hard water, and you won't have some of these issues I'm talking about. Now, if you don't own your own home and you can't get a water softener, there's a couple things you can do. One is you can get filters for your faucet, your shower head, and these things can be attached to your sinks. You can get one of those Pure systems that they advertise on TV that gives you cleaner water to drink from. Other than that, that's really all you can do. Now, like with any other filter, if you add a filter to something, eventually you're gonna have to change it out. So there is some maintenance involved with that. But I will tell you the benefits of soft water over hard water are very obvious. And I think once you started having soft water, you would not want to go back. You know, once again, none of these things in our water right now, if you have hard water, are going to hurt you health-wise. But like I said, there are much better benefits to having soft water. So, you know, I think ignorance is bliss in some areas, but I think knowing now what you know about the water, after seeing what I've shown you today, I think you be able to act more accordingly in the future if you have the benefit of fixing some of these issues. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this speech. I hope you enjoyed some of the information I gave you, and thank you.